Hey everybody, it's your girl Nell. How are you doing? And welcome to my tiny studio. Yay! I'm so glad that you have joined me for this Dreadlock Love video. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. This video is going to be a video about Freeform Locs. I have Freeform Locs. What are freeform locks? Freeform locks are just locks that you do not take the time to retwist. I don't retwist my locks. I don't add any type of product to my locks outside of the products that I've talked to you about that I create myself from different nut butters and essential oils. That's about it. So I don't do any type of retwisting or what some would call maintenance, but of course I do maintain my locks, but I do not do all the things that people today do, because for them dreadlocks is a what? A hairstyle. But for me, dreadlocks is a what? A lifestyle. So I don't have to do all that. Let me go ahead and get my hair retwisted within the nth of his life. I don't have to do that anymore. I'm happy. I've been a freeform locker for about 10 years, and that was the best decision I could have ever made. But what's the difference between a freeform dreadlock wear and semi freeform? What's the difference in those two things? Well, the difference is in how often you decide to retwist your locks. When I first began to freeform, I was a semi freeformer. What does that mean? That means that I still continue to retwist my hair, but I went from maybe every month, which was bad, to maybe every 8 weeks, which was still bad, better, but bad. Then I went from that to perhaps every 5 to 6 months out the year, sometimes once a year. And that is what a semi freeformer is. They still retwist their locks for whatever reason it may be. My daughter is a semi freeformer, and the reason why she's a semi freeformer is because the way her locks grow outside of the lock, of course, her new growth. And what I do is I go in and I marry those new growth strands into her existing lock, and I do so twice a year. So she's a semi freeform lock wearer. Myself, I am a freeform girl, period. I do not do anything else to my hair. I do not retwist at all, period. Not at all. Now, do I style my locks? But of course I do. Of course I style my locks. I use flaxseed gel or aloe vera gel, and I proceed to style my hair. And I sometimes wear it in that I Love Genie ponytail. I sometimes wear it pulled back into a ponytail or a bun or a mini chiffon. I like to wear twist outs, braid twist outs, to give my my freeform locks a little definition. And what I also do, which is controversial for some, is I pull my locks apart. And you may ask, well, why would you do that? Well, you know, when you look at pictures of people who have freeform locks, you see that sometimes by choice they allow their locks to marry one another. So being that I washed my hair a couple of weeks ago, you can't really see it because I have went ahead and divorced some strands that married each other. I went ahead and divorced them. And the reason why I did that is because Depending on your hair texture or your hair type, the way your hair grows, its pattern, sometimes when your locks grow into each other or they marry each other, that can cause a thinning process to happen. And I have found that some of my locks thin when I do not separate them. And that's the same with my daughter. If I don't go in and separate some of her locks, they will begin to thin, and then that's a problem onto itself. So I go in my hair twice a year, and I go ahead and I unmarry or divorce the strands that have decided to marry. Now, a lot of freeformers, that doesn't bother them. You've seen a lot of freeformers who want their locks to marry, and they become these beautiful, intricate, pieces of art on top of their crowns, and they are just magnificent and beautiful. But for me, my hair type dictates that I have to separate them. But outside of separating my locks, they grow very healthy, as you can see. They are very strong, and I try to keep them like that. As you see, I have beautiful edges. I have an some independent growth coming right here, and that comes because sometimes, with having grain locks, or for me, white locks, silver locks, what happens is that the white, silver, and gray hair, um, it has a mind of its own. It becomes very difficult to try to get them to get with the program and their lock family. And what I have to do is I either decide to allow this baby to become its own group or family, or I will use some flaxseed gel and I will marry it, or gently help to incorporate that piece of hair or that strand into the existing lock. And basically, I've just done that while talking to you, but I'll just add some of my lock butters to it to really, tempt it to marry that lock or the nearest lock that it has grown by. But that's the difference between freeform locks and freeform locks. The only freeform dreads. The only difference is that with semi freeform dreads, there is the method of retwisting every so often. I do not retwist at all, so I am just a freeformer. So I hope this video gave you some type of groundwork, or I hope this video was able to help you do a little bit more research into freeforming. And I love freeform locks. I love my locks. I don't have a problem with it. I think that a lot of us over twist, and that's our problem. We have an issue with wanting it to be neat, and you have to ask yourself, why am I wearing dreadlocks and I'm trying to keep them neat? You have to ask yourself that question, because once you answer that question and you really do some soul searching, if you are continuing this journey of wearing dreads, then you're going to come to the conclusion that I did. Dreadlocks are a way of life. It's a lifestyle of non-conformity, and no matter how much you may attempt to shellac it and gel it down and do all of those things to your locks to get this conformative to meet this conformative narrative that Western society has placed upon people of color, once you understand and you acknowledge it and you get past it, you might be joining me in the world of freeform dreadlocks. So thank you so much for hanging out with me in the tiny studio today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or commentary about freeform locks, please go ahead and leave a comment right down here in the comment section. I'm going to leave the other videos that I have created on freeform dreadlocks somewhere up here. And if you need to, you can use those videos for reference. Thank you so much for hanging out. I'm Nell, and I will see you next time.